everyone, happy Monday morning. I am Carol Williams, and we are back with another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So, I like to dive right in. The first thing I want to talk to y'all about is the Department of State, who, as we know, oversees all of our U.S. consulates overseas, has issued us not one, but two visa wait time tools that we can use that can be found on their website. The first is they have relaunched, I guess is the best way to say it, the timing tool that lets us look at the non-immigrant visa wait times at consulates across the world. So that is always helpful to have that back. The new tool that we have is for immigrant visa processing. So those timelines. And so that will help you, frankly, figure out and sort of estimate the timing of interviews once NVC determines that your case is documentarily complete. That's huge, that we now have this tool that we can sort of use to estimate how long it will take to get your interview when you're applying for a green card through a U.S. consulate overseas. So those are two new tools that we can access on the Department of State website. So I, for one, am incredibly excited about that. It will absolutely help me help my clients in terms of timing and timeframes and how we can best plan. The next thing I want to tell y'all is that Department of Homeland Security has announced an extension for TPS, Temporary Protected Status, for individuals from South Sudan. So it will be extended from May 4th to November 3rd of this year. So May 4th to November 3rd, 2025. And it'll be an automatic extension of certain EADs. Those EADs need to have codes of A12 or C19. If you see those codes on your EAD, then your EAD is automatically extended until November 3rd, 2025. So if you are an employer and you are looking to hire someone and they present you with one of these EADs, then you want to make sure that you're looking carefully at the codes to make sure that their EAD, even though it looks like it may be expired on its face, it's actually been automatically extended. So just keep that in mind. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about is sort of less immigration and more travel, but sometimes they kind of mix in. So if you are traveling domestically inside the U.S., the Department of Homeland Security, along with TSA, is now requiring that every traveler have a Real ID compliant document. So we've been hearing about Real ID for quite some time now. It's been the implementation date has been kicked down the road forever, it seems. But as of May 7th, so just a few days ago, you must now have a Real ID compliant document when you're traveling. So if you are traveling domestically and you're just using your driver's license, you want to make sure that your driver's license is Real ID compliant. The quickest way to do that is to go onto the state's website that issued your driver's license and see if they have examples of what a Real ID driver's license from that particular state looks like. So you want to make sure. Other examples of Real ID compliant documents could be your passport, your U.S. passport, your U.S. passport card, a passport issued by a foreign country, not the U.S. If you have a trusted traveler card from any of the trusted traveler programs from the U.S., so that could be your Global Entry, your Nexus, your Sentry, or your FAST programs. If you have a border crossing card, if you have an EAD card issued by USCIS. So there are several documents that meet the Real ID compliant requirements. Again, if you are not sure specifically about your U.S. issued driver's license, go on to the state driver's license page and take a look there. If you're using something other than your U.S. issued driver's license, go on to the TSA.gov website, and they have an entire page that talks about Real ID and the compliant documents. So But if you show up to the airport and you do not have a real ID compliant document, it's going to slow you down, and you could be refused boarding. You could be, they may not let you through security, which if they don't let you through security, then you can't get to the gate. So keep that in mind. And again, that was effective May 7th, so just a few days ago. The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit odd in the employment immigration context. So recently we have been seeing, and by we, I mean my colleagues and I, we have been seeing the immigration, USCIS, they've been issuing RFEs on employment-based cases for individuals to come in and have their biometrics collected. So biometrics are fingerprints, photographs. Haven't really seen this before. So if you get an RFE that asks you to go into a biometric site collection location, it's not a mistake. It's not an error. We are seeing these with I-129 cases, so that could be H's, L's, O's. We're also seeing it with I-140s, which is part of the green card application process. We have been told that it is in conjunction with and further to facilitate promoting national security and public safety. So again, these RFEs requesting biometrics for employment-based cases are fairly new, but they are not a mistake. So you want to make sure that if you get that notice that you don't just sort of pass it off as a mistake, because it is not. It is an intentional act by USCIS. So just keep that in mind. And so you want to make sure that if you are the employee, you want to make sure that you go. If you are the employer, you want to make sure that you are letting your employee know that they need to go to this appointment. And the last thing I want to talk about this Monday morning is the visa waiver program. So the visa waiver program is a program by which countries are allowed to have their nationals come into the U.S. without going to the U.S. Consulate and getting a visitor visa. They go through ESTA, which is all completely online. And so I don't know that I've ever seen this, but I've not remembered seeing this, but it's now, as of May 2nd, so again, just a few days ago, Romania has been taken out of the visa waiver program. So Romania is no longer a part of the visa waiver program. Department of Homeland Security and Department of State have said that they can be reconsidered to be part of the visa waiver program once they meet all of the criteria. So if you are a Romanian citizen and you were thinking about coming to the U.S., as part of the visa waiver program, that is no longer an option. So just keep that in mind. You're going to have to apply for a visitor visa, go into the consulate, and you may need an interview if you don't already have a visa. If you're not sort of 12 months past having that visa, having an expired visitor visa already. So just keep that in mind that Romania is now no longer a part of the visa waiver program. So that is all I have for you all this Monday morning. Again, I'm Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and this is another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite. Have a great rest of your Monday and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.